so forth.
Can I interject? So I feel as though the big Wall Street firms, the hedge funds, the quants, the technical traders, they get to like fall back on this argument that, they're reading charts or, they have these algorithms. And then
Mm,
they sort of like look down upon, even though all the information's out there nowadays, they kind of look down upon the retail trader and the Robinhood trader.
mm,
But then
mm-hmm,
this GameStop sort of short squeeze shows that in mass, these
mm,
guys on Reddit boards, Wall Street bets, whatever, they're actually able to affect just like how the hedge funds used to be able to game the system. And I feel like it's kind of like, it's okay when we do it as institutions and short sellers, but then when the retail person does it, now we're all concerned about, oh, they're speculating and this is not a value stock. What are they doing?
yeah.
How
I
does
mean,
that? Yeah.
I understand the concern. It's important to sort of separate. It's like, those kids that got A's in calculus freshman year in college. God damn it, and we're like we're like average students, right? I happen to go to a good university, you know what I mean? So,
You're probably a
and the
better
problem
student
with,
than me.
well, no, I'm saying when you have the opportunity to go
Mhm.
to a good university as opposed to the public school I went to in high school, you're sampling from a different population
Mhm.
of students, right? And so all the kids, the Bradas I grew up with when I was a kid, they didn't follow me to college, but the
Mhm.
ones who did get to college were all kids like me who, did relatively well. And then you literally go into your first freshman calculus class and you realize, oh my God,
Yeah.
everybody here is smarter than I am, and so on and so forth. And then way at the end, so I'm not making this up. My first class ever in college was a calculus class,
Mhm.
which was a mistake two times over. The first was I should have taken more calculus in high school, but nobody told me.
Yeah.
Like I get there and everybody already took calculus. But the second mistake was I took it at 8 a.m. in the morning. And
Yeah.
I know it sounds ridiculous now. Who takes an 8 a.m. class in college? Somebody who thinks it's still like high school where you take 8 a.m. classes. So there I would sit bleary eyed while these, Asian students just drop kicked my ass across the, classroom when it
Mhm.
came time for exam results. And then I get to graduate school and I'm in my first math econ course. And the professor just asked, I'll never forget this moment. First thing he said on the first day of graduate school, show of hands, how many people in a math econ class, how many people in this class already have a master's degree? And I'm like, who would already have a master's degree? Bruh, half the hands go up. And I'm like,
Wow.
wait, what? And then he says, okay, of those people, how many have master's degrees in math? Same guys.
Wow.
And you know what happened to those guys? They all became quants
Oh,
and went
okay.
to Wall Street.
Mhm.
So it's not their fault. That's how their brains are wired. I remember
Mhm.
taking a credit risk analytics course, a professional development course with about 25 of us for a week, like all day, all night. We're in the computer lab. And, this went on, this was all spring break, taught by these luminary financial econ guys. And then at the end, we all had gotten to know each other. And of those 25 students, five of the 25 were Russian physicists.
Wow.
They're these Russian guys that had PhDs in physics,
Yeah.
and they're learning credit risk math. So my point is, yeah, the quants are not like the rest of us. And I actually took calculus, and they're not like the
Uh-huh.
rest of us. But what you were just reflecting upon was the perception of the guys like me in the back of the classroom going, I am so screwed by this talent that's in the front of the class.
Uh-huh.
And look, it's just, it's like sports, it's like surfing, you paddle out and then, oh my God, that
Yeah.
guy's out in the water. So
Yeah.
look, try not to get to, that's what I would tell retail trader, well, we're talking about retail traders now, and they seem to have gotten bent out of shape. I'm not entirely sure why, because where have you been? Have you not been watching the market for the last 50 years? Oh, you're not old enough. I get that. But here's the thing that changed in the last couple of years. These apps lowered the barrier to entry and eliminated the information asymmetry that made it hard for a non-professional to even get into the market. You had to pay, when I was a kid, you had to call up your stockbroker. It was kind of like calling up your parents to ask them for money, because you say, oh, I want to buy, 100 shares of Microsoft. And then you have to have an argument with this moron who's like, oh, the only people that will ever use internet are 20-year-old guys looking for porn. I actually had that conversation once.
Really?
Yeah. So,
did you get those shares? Did you get the shares and keep them?
I could tell you, I bought Advanced Micro Devices.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I've made money on AMD a couple times, but the story is always ridiculous. Like for example, after the financial crisis, for about 5 minutes, I made money. I bought Citicorp for $4 a share. And then it went to like $20 a share. Nice. And I cut my position. And this is when I go to Las Vegas, I do the same thing. And my wife, it just drives my wife crazy. You can't stop after you make $200. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm out. and of course, I don't even know how much Citicorp is worth today. 50, 80, 100, $200 a share.
I'll look it up on the back. Yeah, I'll look
it up. I'm that guy who cuts out too early. So yes, it's possible to do it, but it's never been easier than today, because Robinhood doesn't even have a transaction fee, right? You don't even have to pay.
Free trades. Totally.
Well, that allows. It's sort of like, if you think about what a Match.com or a hosting app, you want to look for an undocumented vacation rental. The problem there is, you don't know where the cool places to stay are, right? You stay in Waikiki because it never occurred to you that you could stay in a cabin up by Velzyland and walk out your door and surf every morning. So the hosting apps broke down the information asymmetry. The owner of the vacation rental knew it was there, but you didn't. And they lowered the cost of getting into, in the case of Robinhood, getting into the financial markets and being a small player. Which used to, there used to be a brokerage fee, and of course, it still takes a couple of days for a trade to clear, right? It's not instantaneous. It's instantaneous in the accounting sense, but then we have systems set up so that those transactions can be validated, right? It's just like when you make your credit card payment. For some reason, it takes a day or two to post or something to your account. And the same thing happens with trading. And so when what we're talking about here is what's known as a herding event, where the herd starts going in one direction. And the difference between a rational speculative bubble in asset price dynamics, and a path dynamics that are rooted in what people call economic fundamentals, and something you can, how much does GameStop earn each year after paying the mall rent and paying taxes, or earnings before interest, right? EBITDA, or earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation allowance, or something like that. Right? Accounting stuff. Those fundamentals may give a different suggestion of value to the ones that people in the Reddit verse, in some online, social media universe are getting. And in this particular instance of GameStop, partly because of that perception, all us kids in the back of the calculus classroom decided to stick it to the kid in the front that kept pulling the curve. And so we all went, and there are enough of us, right? Enough of us figured out how to move them, acted at the same time to move the market in a direction, in the opposite direction from the so-called experts with their algorithms and all this other stuff. And yeah, stick it to those guys, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Stick it to them.
I mean, it's and there are a lot of people today who like lost money and are happy to have been part of an historic moment.
Yeah.
Go figure. But it's not generalizable. I can understand it happening to one or another stock, but you can't imagine the market in general from being. I'm not saying there aren't bubbles, and we'll put some graphics together later, Nicholas, and then we'll show we'll show how entire asset classes like housing 2005 are subject. How homes in Phoenix and Las Vegas 2005. You want to see some bubbles? Let me tell you, they're out there, and for the same reasons. For the same reasons the herd moved towards GameStop. Well, not for the same reasons they moved, but because of the fact that the herd moved in that direction. Homes in Phoenix and in Las Vegas in 2000, South Florida in 2005, or peaking in 2005 or 2006. Homes leading up to that exhibited the same acceleration we were seeing in GameStop stock prices, GameStop blah blah prices in the first 3 weeks of January 2021.